On a special bonus edition of Locked On Raptors, the entire NBA world got down with the thickness last night as Kyle Lowry nearly carried the Miami Heat to a victory. We'll talk about Kyle Lowry's incredible game against the Atlanta Hawks in a losing effort and what it means for the Raptors that the Heat are now the next team up if they can take down the Chicago Bulls. And we'll do it all with our foremost Kyle Lowry appreciator, Kate Heindl. It's all coming up. Thanks so much for hanging.
You are Locked On Raptors, your daily Toronto Raptors podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to episode number 1379 and a half of Locked On Raptors for Wednesday, April the 12th, the afternoon edition of the show today. We had the episode earlier this morning with Pat, the designer of Locked On Bulls, to go check out as well. I'm Sean Woodley, of course, been covering the Raptors for a long time. You know this. You know you can find the podcast for free wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube, you know that you can join our Discord server and come hang out ahead of the play-in game tonight, and then all of the days beyond tonight as well as the Discord server's popping off. And we've got all that good stuff. You know the deal. Well, we're going to do a quick version of the show right now because the play-in game is in 7 hours' time. There's already a full episode earlier today, but we got to talk about Kyle freaking Lowry turning back the clock, doing his old Kalo everything. That's a redundancy. Kalo, if we're going to make that into an acronym. But either way, Kyle Lowry had himself a game last night in a play-in game that has ramifications for the Toronto Raptors, as we now know who their opponent will be if they can take down DeMar DeRozan and the Chicago Bulls tonight. It will be none other than Kyle Lowry and the Miami Heat, which is super fun. Here to talk about it is Kate Heindl from Dime, from Basketball Feelings, from all over the bloody place, jet setting around the state of Texas, all of that. Before we get into Kyle Lowry, though, Katie, it's like 28 degrees out today. I just got back from a very hot and sunny bike ride. I have to ask you, as the official inventor of the clothing, is it short season?
I'm wearing them inside, and I feel like the Raptors are really taunting me with this, or like the weather is with like, what am I going to wear to the game later? I'm probably not going to wear shorts. A part of me is
usually
just like
frowned upon to do that.
You got to get wear pants with like a t-shirt today, wear like a light crew neck. You could wear a dress. You could wear a skirt. I feel like shorts, we still have to save them until May, folks.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow. Hot take. It's going to be so hot the next few days.
If you're like going for a run, a bike ride, as you just did, please don't get, heat exhaustion. Wear shorts. But I think just a bunch
of Locked On Raptors listeners keeling over wearing track pants while they run.
As like a fit option, this is it's very tempting, especially, right after winter to throw it all away and just put shorts on. But we're going to have so much time for shorts. This is that rare time where you can mix it up a little bit with the clothes you didn't get to wear maybe deep into the fall because it got cold really fast,
Sure.
Experiment with your pants, like your linens, not just jeans. I'm sure you have other options. This is the prime time before it's like June, July, August, and you're only just gonna be wearing the same pair of shorts every day.
You see, the thing for me, Katie, is I run hot. People who listen to the podcast who have listened a long time know this. I'm a sweaty dude. You've probably seen it on the podcast sometimes. There's not much I can do to hide it. There's just the way my body is. I'm wearing shorts right now. You'll see. Just putting on a leg show for the listeners.
Yeah, I'm wearing them inside. It's just different. It's just different taking them out. You can't take them out yet.
I will be doing that later because it's a necessity for me. Otherwise, I'll be one of those poor Locked On Raptors listeners who's on the side of a ditch wearing a full sweatsuit as they run per Katie's directions. Let's get into Kyle Lowry, shall we? He was awesome last night. Holy hell, super duper fun in a game where it was not much fun otherwise in pretty much any capacity. Trae Young and the Hawks winning and having success, never that fun. The Miami Heat playing basketball, not typically the most fun thing in the world this season. It's been kind of a slog. But Kyle Lowry off the bench, 33 minutes, 33 points, 4 boards, 5 assists, 11 of 16, 6 of 9 from deep. Was probably his best game as a Miami Heat player, which is great for Kyle Lowry. Not so great for the Heat that they wasted it. Certainly the Raptors wasted plenty of Kyle Lowry over everything game in the past. But Katie, I was borderline moved to tears watching Kyle Lowry do some of the stuff he did last night. The whole world's watching. It's the only game on. We don't know how many more times Kyle Lowry is going to take center stage like that. I thought it was just so bloody cool. What were your thoughts as Kyle Lowry was doing the Kyle Lowry thing at his advanced age against the Atlanta Hawks last night?
Yeah, I was cackling, really liking, really laughing, and really into it. I felt some weird phantom anxiety pangs, and then I had to remind myself, nope, this is not, Kyle Lowry trying to pull the Raptors back from the brink in a playoff game. It's him trying to do the same thing to the Heat. It does suck that the efforts were wasted, but it did remind me of how effortless it can look, or Kyle Lowry can make it look when he turns it on like that. What did he end with? 30 or
33.
More?
33, Katie.
Which is a season high, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Although it doesn't count because the play-in stats just go into the void and we don't know where they are. It's kind of fun.
Because it's probably like a 2-season high for him in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah. So beautiful, kind of a bummer. A little bit frustrating just to see the way that the team sort of squandered this. Not placing this on Jimmy Butler, who looked exhausted as all get out. But the Heat are so small. Compared to the Hawks. That was one thing that surprised me. I will quibble with the fact that I think I'm turning a corner on Trae Young. Also, the Hawks generally more
controversial, like your shorts take. All right,
because they have Sadiq Bey now, who looks great with that team. They also have Clint Capella, who looked wonderful last night, and somebody named Quinn Snyder, who I loved watching laugh. He was laughing at times last night.
He probably only cackles, right?
Nice little
he doesn't really laugh. He more cackles.
Watching Quinn prowl around. Definitely two of the best looking coaches in the league.
Oh yeah.
Facing off last night.
That's a himbo off for sure.
Also great to watch. So yeah, generally a pleasure, but a bummer in the end, because I feel like this is gonna be tough. That was maybe all the effort that he had, unless Jimmy and Pam can kind of bring it out next game. But Kyle Lowry, beautiful.
Kyle Lowry, beautiful indeed. And it should be noted, we're now on 2 straight do or die postseason games, not playoffs proper, but postseason games in which Kyle Lowry has tried to drag the Heat to a result that was not eventually to be achieved. You think back to Game 7 against the Boston Celtics, and everyone thinks about the missed Jimmy Butler shot, but really, that was Kyle Lowry being like, all right, dudes, hop on. I'm going to drag you for these final 5 minutes to see if we can upset this obviously superior Boston Celtics team. Really cool. Love Kyle Lowry. He's the freaking best. We're going to come back on the next segment here to round out this bonus content for you lovely sickos out there who would listen to me twice in one day, thrice in one day, because I'm going live later on after the game as well. But we'll get to that and dig into the conversation about what it means for the Raptors that now the Miami Heat will be the team that they have to play. If in fact they do beat the Chicago Bulls tonight, perhaps putting the cart before the horse. But what's bonus content for if not doing that? We'll get to that in just 1 second. Before we jump on in, however, got to tell you about a couple of our friends. First up, we got to tell you about our friends over at Ultimate Pro Basketball GM, which for anyone who loves a sports game sim, this is the game for you. Maybe you're someone who likes to play out of the park baseball. Maybe you're someone who likes to play manager mode on FIFA and play it 25 years into the future and just do transfers all the time. If you're that type of person, Ultimate Pro Basketball GM should very, very clearly align with your interests. You're dealing with challenging personalities. You're hiring the right coaches and assistants. You're trading and training players, making draft picks, and navigating your franchise through free agency and the draft, all through the ups and downs of multiple seasons, all in a challenging and realistic game world. Ultimate Pro Basketball GM is completely free and playable offline. Play on the go as you want and when you want to. You can play little leagues with your friends as well. We talked yesterday with our pal Pat, the designer, who was fresh off of losing the NBA Finals in his Ultimate Pro Basketball GM journey after being up 3-0 in the finals. You could have that happen to you as well. Go download the game right now. Locked On Raptors listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo code Locked On in the game store, so make sure to check it out. To download the game, just visit probasketballgm.com, scan the code or look it up on the app stores. That's probasketballgm.com. Ultimate Pro Basketball GM. Start your dynasty today. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Locked On and of Major League Baseball, not to mention the NBA. All of it, it's all under one umbrella on FanDuel. Right now, baseball season's heating up. Grand slams, no-hitters, double plays. Katie knows. It's Katie's favorite sport. She's always saying it. Baseball is there right now for you to go and join FanDuel. Throw some money down on the games you're watching. That's because right now, new customers get to step up to the plate with a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just go to FanDuel.com/LockedOn, sign up, place your first bet, and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. If you don't win, it's not just baseball. Of course, the play-in game is tonight. If you want to do my classic happiness hedge, where you throw money on the Raptors to lose, so if they do lose, you are happy and have some money in your coffers. But if they win, you're like, oh, whatever, they won, I'm happy anyway. That's the way to do it tonight, so don't miss your chance. Go and get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to FanDuel.com/LockedOn to sign up. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. All right, we continue on here with your bonus episode talking Kyle Lowry, the Miami Heat, and all that goes into it. Tonight, of course, the Raptors taking on the Bulls in the play-in game. We've talked about it at length over the last 3 episodes of the podcast. But Katie, quick impressions, quick thoughts, quick feelings going into this one. Are you feeling all right about the Raptors' chances, or will DeMar DeRozan ruin the chance for the Raptors to play Kyle Lowry in their next game? The nice thing here is it kind of feels like a bit of a win-win. The Raptors lose, they get a lottery pick, and we get to see a DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry all for the Marbles game, which would be pretty awesome as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of gunning for that.
But Kate Heindl, pro tanking, I think is the official tagline here.
No, man, and I'm sure you've discussed this at length,
Sure.
Leading into this game with your various other guests, but this team just doesn't feel like they want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
It is a little
starting from the coach down, I would say.
Exactly. And DeMar DeRozan's not going to make it easy on anybody. I think it would mean something pretty sincerely to him to win this game in Toronto. That said, I have to say, Jerome Chang posted my favorite photo of Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan together, which was their promo shots for the All-Star game they were both in. When you've got a serious photo of DeMar in the foreground and Kyle Lowry looking like Slimer in the window in the background, and was basically like, this is the next two, this is like the Raptors perspective right now.
It's their path. The path has been laid before them, and it goes through all sorts of old skeletons in the closet. I mean, not really skeletons. It's mostly good feelings
they
there.
Kind of this is sort of, it would be a test. Again, I'm very unsure of how this team will get through it, but you could look at it as a test of like this team stepping into its own identity, vanquishing the past,
the specter of Kyle Lowry that's loomed over the team for 2 years.
Which is a friendly specter, right? A friendly ghost, I'll just say. But I just again, I don't really feel like the team is too much up for it. There is something very, as a writer and like a sap, there is something that I do really enjoy that it lined up like this for Toronto. And again, that I will enjoy watching DeMar versus Kyle in that matchup, because then that will just be pure. And both the Bulls right now and the Heat, that will just be a game of pure will, right? And exhaustion.
Yeah, that's going to be like a 65-62 nasty game in which Kyle and DeMar combine for like 60 points together.
Which then they've got to go play the Bucks. So
yeah,
that's tough. That's tough for anybody. I don't know, man. It feels like a fitting way to potentially have the Raptors season and or collapse in on them.
I think there is just, obviously I would like the Raptors to win. That's usually sort of my party line. Yeah, I want the team I like, the local basketball team, to win their basketball games. However, I don't think I can get too bent out of shape if they don't, just because you mentioned the DeMar Kyle thing, the fact that they're lining up to get slaughtered by the Bucks in some unceremonious fashion, and to put it in a very, very unpleasant term. It's to me, all of the outcomes here, they could lose to Kyle in the next game. And I'm like, you know what? That's cool too. Again, I want them to win. I think they will probably beat the Bulls just matchup wise. Obviously, the whole do you want to be here thing certainly will have, I think, some bearing over this game. I would imagine the Bulls, I don't know. It's hard to say. They have Patrick Beverley, who only wants to be in the play-in, so that's probably a feather in their cap as far as that category goes. But I do think it's super telling that Darnell Mayberry and Eric Corrine, the beat writers for the Bulls and the Raptors, did a little crossover thing to preview the game, and Darnell, the Bulls writer, picked the Raptors to win, and Eric, the Raptors writer, picked the Bulls to win. That seems
generous,
like the perfect summation of this game and all of the feelings and vibes going into it. That said, single elimination basketball rocks. I had a fun time watching that disgusting Wolves-Lakers game last night. To have my team involved in a single elimination game, one that I'm actually kind of okay with any outcome for, all good in my books. Shout out to the basketball. We love to watch the basketball, don't we, Katie? Any parting shots here? Any thoughts on the Heat being the team over the Hawks that they have to play, like, matchup wise? I think the Raptors might have caught a break here if this is in fact their path. The Hawks in like a single elimination game, as much as I don't think the Hawks are especially good, they're certainly terrifying in a one-off game because they can look amazing. They're kind of like the Raptors in that they look either amazing or completely destitute and not very often in the middle. So the Heat, I think you can kind of predict they're going to be nasty and kind of bad. And can you just be a little bit less bad than them is kind of the game plan there. Thoughts on the Heat being the team as opposed to the Hawks? Is this a good thing for those who want to see the Raptors make their way into a ceremonial gentleman's sweep at the hands of the Bucks?
Yeah, I think the Heat, that would be more of a physical game, even though they are a much kind of smaller team than the Raptors. I just think they have a knack for really turning it on against Toronto. And I think the Hawks are they're a bit more well coached, or at least the coaching is better suited to the roster. They looked pretty together last night. They were very fast. They're very annoying. I could see them getting around Toronto's defense pretty handily. Whether or not that could last all 4 quarters, I don't know. Toronto right now, I'm just not confident in any
I think you're
matchup.
echoing the sentiments of a lot of people, Katie.
But you're right. Like a single elimination game, anything really goes. You only got to hold it to get like it bodes well for Toronto because they have to only hold it together for 4 quarters for one game.
At home,
though you get them into a series and then you start to really worry. But for now, they can handle it.
I'll leave on this last parting shot. I think, yes, this season has been disappointing. Yes, being in the play-in is maybe not what everybody wants. It's not everybody's cup of tea. But that said, now that you have Kyle Lowry waiting in the last play-in game, if you can get through DeMar DeRozan, there's all this sort of narrative juice to it that's been added to it. And I do think, what are we in this for? We're in it to, like, remember our guys when they did stuff that was cool. I think there's a real chance, if things break right here, that the Raptors actually salvage something from their season as like hey, that's the year where they beat Kyle and DeMar going into the playoffs. That's cool. That's like a touchstone thing that as a fan you can look back on. Is it a championship? No, but like, we still get very happy thinking about the Raptors beating the Pacers in the first round back in 2016 and the Norm Powell dunk. Not everything has to be leading to a championship for it to be something you can hold on to as a fan. I think there's a chance for that stuff to be held on to as a result of the way things have broken here. So enjoy it for what it is. That's all I can say. Maybe you're you're rooting for the lottery pick. That's fine too. But enjoy this for what it is. It should be fun. Katie, this was awesome. Any last parting shots before we round it out? Anything people should know about that they should be reading off of your amazing typing fingers? I don't know.
Wow. No, I agree with your summation of the season. That is a very nice way to put it and to still pull some meaning from it. I think I will be doing my playoff series exits. Once again,
yeah, we love exits.
Basketball feelings, though sadly for Toronto Raptors fans, I don't start at the play-in or I would lose my mind. But it's basically but what you say, kind of like a reflection, a loose reflection on every team's season as they're eliminated.
I would like you to reconsider your play-in stance if, in fact, the Minnesota Timberwolves lose the next play-in game, because I feel like the Wolves, as a general thing, could really use the Katie touch. But either way, I'll stop pitching you your own ideas, and I will leave it there. Thanks for listening to this bonus episode of Locked On Raptors. Again, tonight, 10 o'clock or so, we'll go live, break down the play-in game and all that came with it, and either look ahead to Raptors Heat or put a bow on a pretty disappointing season. Either way, love you all. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you tomorrow, or if you're listening to the episode we're doing tonight tomorrow, that's when I'll talk to you. But if you're listening tonight, then I'll talk to you tonight. All right, bye.